dominant player. Does this signal a new economic order where, as our next guest sees it, the center of gravity is shifting to Asia? Joining us now from Kent, Connecticut, is the man instrumental in opening up China to the West at the very height of the Cold War, former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
China, already America's largest creditor, but you say, sir, that China needs an even bigger role in the global economy.
Yes, I think the center of gravity of the economic world is beginning to shift towards Asia. And within Asia, China is the largest economy and in a very strong position.
The question that seems
it will be. It is not yet. Japan is larger than China, but over the next 10 years, China will become the largest economy in Asia.
But you have said, sir, that there is seemingly a crisis of confidence on China's part, given the financial crisis here in the United States.
Well, for a long period, for about 20 years, the global economic system was operating on Chinese exports to the United States and American lending to China. And that was one of the major fuels for the global economy. Now the economic crisis in the world, and particularly in the Western world, has created a situation in which the exports of China have fallen sharply as a result of the crisis, and the investments of America in China are raising questions in the Chinese mind of the value of our currency and of the evolution of our economy. So inevitably, the economic relationship between the United States and China will have to undergo a transformation. But I still think it will be very positive, and it will be the most important element in the world economy and the world political situation. All I was pointing out is that it will change.
Does that change also require a shift away from the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency?
Well, a number of Chinese economists and many of the Chinese leaders are talking about two things. One, that the global financial system should not be determined primarily by one country, which has been importantly the case over the past decades. And secondly, that conceivably a new, an alternative or a companion currency to the dollar will be created, built around the Chinese currency. But in any event, that will be several years down the road, because to do that, the Chinese currency would have to become convertible, which it is not yet.
When you're talking about this really sort of unprecedented leverage that China has in the global economy, the shift in trade, how much of a political shift needs to happen in terms of the interaction between the U.S. and China? Should there be a G2 instead of a G7, a G20?
My basic point has been that what was an automatic economic relationship will now have to be supplemented and to some extent replaced by a deliberate political relationship. The G2 idea that the United States and China should, between them, set the standards and the criteria for the world, I think goes too far, because that will unite all the other countries in some attempt to break it up. It's important for China and the United States to have a very close relationship. And what I'm thinking of is that in the 50s, we created a institutional structure in the Atlantic that tied Europe and the United States closely together in decision making. Now we need some sort of institutional structure for the Pacific. In the 50s, in Europe, that was primarily or initially military. In the Pacific, it has to be a combination of economic and political, and I believe that that is a great opportunity for the current administration, and I'm reasonably sure that they look at it the same way.
All right. Thank you so much, former Secretary of State Dr. Henry Kissinger, joining us live from his home in Kent, Connecticut, to discuss the gravity shift that he sees taking place right now towards Asia and the rebalancing of economic and political relationships that needs to happen as a result.